Who was crazy until they were right all along? I work as a nurse in the ER, and we had this elderly woman, Mrs. Patterson, who came in at least twice a month claiming someone was breaking into her house and moving her things around. She lived alone, had mild dementia, and her adult children were convinced she was just confused. Mrs. Patterson would arrive in tears, saying someone had rearranged her kitchen cabinets, moved her furniture, or stolen small items like spoons or picture frames. She insisted it always happened when she went to her weekly doctor's appointments or grocery shopping. Her daughter would roll her eyes and apologize to us for wasting our time. The police had been to Mrs. Patterson's house dozens of times and never found any evidence of break-ins. No forced entry, no missing valuables, nothing that would indicate an actual crime. Everyone assumed it was typical dementia-related paranoia. Patients with memory issues often think people are stealing from them or moving their belongings. It's textbook stuff we see all the time, but Mrs. Patterson was different. She was incredibly specific about what had been moved and when. She'd say things like, "My salt shaker was on the right side of the stove, now it's on the left," or "Someone folded my towels differently and put them back in the wrong order." Most dementia patients have vague complaints about missing items. Mrs. Patterson had detailed inventories of tiny changes that seemed too precise for someone with memory issues. I started paying closer attention to her stories. She always mentioned that these incidents happened on the same days, Tuesdays and Fridays, when she had standing appointments that took her away from home for exactly 2 hours. One Tuesday, Mrs. Patterson came in more upset than usual. She said someone had not only moved things, but had eaten food from her refrigerator and used her bathroom. She could tell because the toilet seat was up, and she lived alone. Her daughter was embarrassed and suggested we refer Mrs. Patterson to a psychiatrist for her delusions. But something about the toilet seat detail bothered me. That's not a typical false memory or paranoid delusion. I convinced Mrs. Patterson to let me set up a simple security camera in her living room, just a basic webcam connected to her laptop that would record while she was out. Her daughter thought it was pointless, but agreed, hoping it would prove her mother was imagining things. The following Friday, Mrs. Patterson went to her usual appointment. When she got home, she called me immediately. Someone had been in her house again, and this time we had it on video. I went over to review the footage with her and her daughter. About 30 minutes after Mrs. Patterson left, we watched a man use a key to enter through her front door. He wasn't a stranger. It was her neighbor's teenage son, Marcus, who had been doing odd jobs for Mrs. Patterson for over a year. She'd given him a spare key to help with yard work and groceries. The video showed Marcus systematically going through Mrs. Patterson's house, but he wasn't stealing in any obvious way. Instead, he was playing these weird psychological games, moving items slightly, rearranging things, eating her food, using her bathroom, then carefully cleaning up most evidence. He was essentially gaslighting an elderly woman with dementia, probably thinking no one would believe her if she complained. He'd take one spoon from a set, move her coffee mug to a different cabinet, or flip her cushions to the other side. The most disturbing part was watching him clearly enjoy it. He was smiling and taking his time, like he was conducting some kind of cruel experiment on her mental state. When we confronted Marcus with the video evidence, he broke down and admitted he'd been doing it for months. He said he started by accident when he noticed Mrs. Patterson couldn't remember if he'd done certain tasks. Then he began doing it deliberately to mess with her head. He thought it was harmless fun because she's already confused anyway. He had no idea how much distress he was causing or how many times she'd been to the ER in tears. Marcus's parents were horrified. They made him write an apology letter and pay for Mrs. Patterson's medical bills from all her ER visits. He also had to do community service at a senior center to understand how his actions affected elderly people. Mrs. Patterson was vindicated, but also heartbroken. She trusted Marcus and had been defending him to her daughter, saying he was such a good boy who helped her around the house. The saddest part was realizing how many people had dismissed her concerns simply because she had dementia. Her memory wasn't perfect, but her observations were completely accurate. She knew something was wrong in her own home. After we figured out what was happening, Mrs. Patterson's paranoid episodes stopped completely. She never came to the ER with those complaints again. Sometimes